The little girl ignored everyone's protests and insisted on climbing into the cockpit. She took control of a severely malfunctioning airplane by herself. When the captain saw this, he did not stop her. Instead, he told the flight attendant to clear all non-essential people out. He knew that every move the girl made was correct. In fact, the girl was the first airplane designer of the 21st century. She was also the first female pilot in China. An accident had sent her consciousness into the body of a girl living decades later. Unexpectedly, the aircraft began to experience violent turbulence. The cabin crew tried to calm passengers, saying it was just high-altitude air disturbance, but the girl sensed that something was wrong. She realized it wasn't simply turbulence. The plane kept leaning to the left. A dull, metal-tearing sound accompanied the motion. She concluded that the left engine had suffered structural failure. She immediately told her mother that the plane was going to crash. Sure enough, one side of a wing exploded at that moment. The cockpit windshield shattered. The blast produced such suction that the first officer was ripped toward the window and pulled out. The airframe then began to convulse violently. A cabin window suddenly burst inward. One passenger was sucked out through that opening. Only then did people begin to feel real fear. They scrambled to grab the passenger and hold on. At the same time, the oxygen masks automatically dropped down. The crew urged everyone to put the masks on, but the high-altitude suction was overwhelming. The passengers trying to pull the victim back were reaching their limits. A flight attendant rushed to contact the captain to report cabin depressurization, but the cockpit phone lines were dead. Seeing this, the girl ran to the cockpit door. She tried to knock, but there was no response from inside. The girl confirmed the captain was incapacitated. They had to use the emergency override code to open the cockpit immediately. The cabin crew hesitated, afraid of breaking protocol. The girl challenged them. "Do you want to stand by and watch everyone die because you hesitated?" she asked. After thinking it over, the crew finally keyed in the emergency code. Still, there was no response from the cockpit. The girl suspected that the explosion had physically jammed the door. Because she had designed the systems for this aircraft model years before, she activated the emergency control routine from memory. The cabin crew watched, stunned. No one expected a little girl to know how to access the plane's highest level settings. After entering the code, she pushed on the cockpit door. The moment the door opened, everyone inside was shocked. Passengers realized the plane was truly in trouble. The captain shouted for them to help with the rescue. Her mother rushed in and clutched the captain's pant leg, then called to the crew to assist. The girl saw that the malfunction matched her diagnosis. The left engine had burned but not fully shut down, which caused the hydraulic system to lose pressure. She had to take control immediately. Without hesitation, she sat in the pilot's seat. She cut fuel to the left engine. She deployed the fire suppression bottle. The captain watched and saw that her actions were correct, and that no one matched her judgment or execution. Then the girl asked whether the captain had sent the emergency code to the tower. He confirmed he had, but his hands had been sliced by glass and he could no longer operate. The girl calmly told him not to worry. Then she pushed the control column to rebalance the airframe. The aircraft leveled in an instant. The fuselage twisted violently again. People began accusing the girl of reckless behavior, saying a child should not be allowed to fly the plane. The captain yelled at everyone to be quiet. "Follow her orders," he commanded. The cabin crew had not expected the captain to give such an order for a child, but a second later the plane tilted again. Suitcases slid from the overhead bins. That shift created just the angle needed for crew to haul the sliding captain back into the cabin. Now the aircraft steadied. Several people immediately dragged the first officer out of the cockpit. At that moment, the girl received a message from air traffic control. The tower was relieved to hear the plane was stable, but they suddenly realized that although she had stabilized the aircraft, it had veered off course. The plane was now on a collision path with a cargo aircraft. Unexpectedly, a passenger burst into the cockpit and ripped the girl's headset off.